Hello, hello! Welcome to another episode of Walk the Dog Cinema. Here we are, kind of a gloomy, dusk evening. Perfect fall weather. The Roca has just been eagerly waiting to get going as she sits here and looks about, looking at everybody, kind of traveling everywhere. But to say Roca is excited to get on her walk, as you can see her tail is going 100 miles an hour there. And she's excited, and so am I. We're gonna discuss House 2, the second story, and she's got her eye on a neighbor's dog that's just kind of wandering about. Roca thinks every dog in the neighborhood's her friend, so she gets overly excited about all of those things. Like I said, we're going to talk about House 2. So I've been watching House movies. Already reviewed House with William Catt. This time it's part 2, though there's no real association. It's kind of like Sean Cunningham, who produced the first House, produced this one. He also did House 3, the horror show with Lance Henriksen and Brian James. Totally different story. It's almost like he took what John Carpenter kind of wanted to do with the Halloween series and did it with this series. Maybe for name recognition. I mean, a house is very important to this film in terms of how they deal with it. House 2. It was directed by the writer of the first film, and like I said, produced by Sean Cunningham of Friday the 13th fame. Music done by Henry Manfrini, who did also the music from the first one and Friday the 13th movies. Instead of George Wendt of Cheers fame, you get Bill Ratzenberger of Cheers fame. So you have both characters from Cheers have done both House movies, and Ratzenberger did a lot of voice acting besides Cheers in the Pixar films. I'll just say his part in this movie is great. He is an electrician who has more skills than needed. And though his part is great, it also points to some of the script issues within this movie. So there's that. I'll just say that House 2 is a fun movie. It's not overtly coherent or has any true structure. There is some pacing problems. I don't know if the Amelia guy who wrote the very first one had any kind of directing credits ever. To me, some of it is rather amateurish. So in this, you also have Bill Maher, some of his early work before he ever did Politically Incorrect or being on HBO as a political commentator. I know he was a stand-up that did some of that stuff, but this was kind of like his first movies. You have Amy Yasbeek, who went on to do Robin Hood, the Mel Brooks one, Men in Tights, and also ended up marrying John Ritter. So she's in this as kind of a Madonna pop star, rather small role. You have Lincoln Park, I forget her name, Lar Lincoln, Tina from Friday the 13th Part 7. I really should get her name right, as it's kind of one of my guilty pleasures of the Friday the 13th series. But yeah, Tina Shepard of that movie is in this. She has a pretty small part in this also. It's really about the two guys. I can't think of their names. I looked them up. They don't ever ring a bell, but every time I see these actors, I mean, they are character actors. When you see them, you kind of recognize them. They tend to be in the background, but they always kind of steal the show when they do it. But their names never like set in my head. too much, so to speak. So there's that. But overall, two outstanding other characters, Gramps and Slim, the zombie cowboy guys. Great makeup effects, and those characters work really well also. So I mean, overall, it's a pretty good cast. It's just there's some pacing issues in the film, and it is a lot of fun. Just you got to kind of turn your brain off a little bit. It is a B movie. It's distributed by Roger Corman's New World Pictures, same who did House. And this one is kind of more kid-friendly, so to speak. It does take place relatively the night before, the night of, and the night after Halloween. So that's your 3-day period. So there's some great Halloween aesthetics to it. So it is a really cool fall movie, Halloween-like movie. There is some great creature effects. There's some stop motion in here done by Phil Tippett. He was the supervising manager of it. He didn't do the stop motion per se, but his work group took care of it all, and he actually has creature effects credit in the film. So I mean, the crux is going to come down to like cheesiness. Again, spoilers. The basis of it is that there's this house. It's kind of built like an Aztec temple a little bit. It's a cool house. It's a cool set. It's wild aesthetics. And our main hero, Jess, his parents come from a line who are protecting like a skull that his great-grandfather took and has been arguing or had a gunfight with the person, his partner named Slim, and they had a falling out. And this Slim is now kind of like this zombie gunslinger, comes back and kills Jess's parents. But Jess was kind of given away right before it all happens. That's the opening sequence. It's a great sequence. There's some suspense, but that's kind of the last time on certain levels that the suspense is ramped up in such a manner. Like I said, it's a PG-13 movie, but it's almost PG. Jess moves in many years later, like 20-something years later, with his girlfriend, and she's like a talent scout for a record company. Jess's friend shows up, Charlie, with his girlfriend, and then just things ensue over this crystal skull. And Jess's great-grandfather they dig him up. He's kind of like a zombie, and then a bunch of weird things happen with different characters coming from seemingly anywhere in the house to steal the skull. So the kind of plot of the movie, I mean, it's a good excuse to do kind of a B horror film. Kind of dig it on that level. They don't really develop it enough for my tastes on one level. I think the biggest problem with the film is that it doesn't really have any rules or boundaries. Things just pop up, appear, happen, and yeah, we just kind of have to accept it because the house is like on some time, space, temporal portal thing. And it's really an excuse just to do whatever we want. I would kind of like the rules to be a little bit clearer. I think it gives it a little bit of grounding, just so you don't get the kind of ending that you get in this one, where he's a great bad guy, Slim. He's set up in the beginning and he only shows up at the end. Kind of takes the takes the same pattern from House, but the difference is in the original House, it was because of the main character's fears, where this one is an actual, not fears or anything, it's an actual protagonist villain that drives, looking for this skull. And then they kind of don't get into ultimately what the skull can do. you know, these evil entities, these evil people get a hold of it, one from the Stone Age, then one from kind of like an Aztecian era, and they don't do anything with the skull. They don't do any mysticism or magic. We kind of get a part where this is where Ratzenberg comes into play. His character Bill, electrician. They're going to sacrifice, the Aztecs are going to sacrifice this virgin, and it's a great sequence where they're sword fighting, and some of it's kind of clunky from a directorial standpoint. But Ratzenberger is so dynamic in the role. He steals this whole 15 minutes, and you completely remember it. It's absolutely a lot of fun, even if it is just way out there in that regard. And so the movie kind of follows this pattern where it's kind of nonsensical in the total relation of what the skull is, unless I missed it. So if there's something about it that I missed in the movie that I didn't hear appropriately or whatever, let me know in the comments. But like I said, I remembered it when I was younger. I mean, I enjoyed it as a teenager. A lot of that is the special effects are great. Like I said, the stop motion, the creature works. You know, you got the puppy pillar. It's instead of a caterpillar, it's a dog, a puppy that is in the shape of a caterpillar. It is cute. It kind of comes from the Never-Ending Story Falcor lineage of cute characters from the 80s. You have this like pterodactyl bird thing from the Stone Age that's rather cute, and some great puppet work there. But there is stop motion in here that's just absolutely fantastic. That, like I said, done by Phil Tippett's team. If you don't know who Phil Tippett is, he did the amazing Hoth battle and a lot of the he did Ed 209 from RoboCop. I mean, he's done stop motion stuff for Star Wars and RoboCop, but basically anything stop motion back in the 80s, Phil Tippett had a hand in, and I'd even say maybe even in the 90s. So he's kind of a genius with the stop motion stuff. And you know, if you ever seen the Hoth battle scene in Empire Strikes Back, or just the amazing Ed 209 and Kane from RoboCop 2, you'll understand what I mean just by character work from stop motion. And there is that in here that's absolutely fantastic to look at. Again, the director probably bit off more than you could chew. There's a lot of pacing problems in the film. It kind of drags at times. It feels like where something needs to be rushed or get going, it kind of just languishes. That also could be some editing issues there, where they just kind of linger on some shots, or a thought process, or some things are just dropped and not cut to in a nice manner to where we're jumping back and forth on the action and creating a little bit of chaos. It's kind of loquacious about it. So that kind of drags down it a little bit. This one isn't as good as House for me. But I still say give it a try. It's a great Halloween-like film if you're into B movies. It is definitely a B movie with some solid acting. So that's my House 2 review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Let's get this going. Have a good one, everybody.